Hello everybody, my name is YesfulMan and today we are going to talk about my new add-on designed to help with vertex ID mapping and masking. So if you're just doing a general color set for masking or you are just using it for ID mapping, whether it's in Blender or in something like Substance. And let's just go ahead and get started with it. So the first thing you'll do is you will start your startup cube, of course, and then you will initialize. That'll load everything in, get all the prerequisites set up, and just get you ready to go. So you can already see, probably have an idea of what this already does in its layout. Eventually, I do plan to make these more of a custom color set, so you can have like your custom color palettes for different material sets or whatever you want. But for now, they are just simple basic colors. I'm going to expand these for V1.5, but for now, we'll just go ahead and get into what they do in the first place. So when you go to edit mode, now note, to initialize, you do have to be in object mode, just the way Blender works. But once you've done that, you can then go into edit mode. And if you've ever done vertex painting, you'll know that you only have face and vertex when you paint. And you of course have to switch over here and go to vertex paint and then do your whole thing, and then some things are kind of annoying because Blender hasn't really updated it, and it's just annoying. So if I want to go in here and I want to start to paint specific faces, let's say, I can just go here, in edit mode, click that face, and then you probably want to be in your color view. So I have it so you can view your material. So if you have something like down here, oh, hey, and if you want to be in your color mode so you can kind of see what you're doing. So let's say I want to do like this and make it red. Hey, look at that. We got a nice little face. You can make this down here red. Boom. But you'll notice something. I reselected all the red over here. That's because you can also select by the colors you've made. Now, it's not perfect in its current state. There are some issues which I'll go into a little bit, but you can do that. But you can also do it in, say, vertex mode. You can also do it in edge mode, and it'll just reselect them. Now, that being said, something to note about vertex painting if you've barely done it before, it does have a gradient effect. So if you push like red here, for example, you can see it gradients. And I made sure that functionality was there because sometimes you might want that for whatever you're doing. So whatever mode you're in, it will treat it like that. And if you go over here to edge mode, it'll act like vertex mode. So I push red here, you can see it just acted like that and went across here. Now, of course, just note when you're in face mode and you want to select red, it won't select these because they aren't edges or vertices. But of course, if you're in this mode and you click this, it will, of course, select them. And of course, remember, fills in voids and stuff. Cool. So that's awesome. What are these, right? What are these awesome little things? This right here will let you have selection sets. So say you're juggling a bunch of colors, you want to change your color palettes around and you're just trying to mess with stuff, or maybe you're just working with a specific group of pieces and you just want to, you know, just juggle things around. Just bottom line is juggle things around. Well, if you click set, now if I let go of this, right, and I click selection, boom, just reselects them. Novel concept. I love it. So you go over here, here, let's just do this other one. I set that. Hey, look at that. Or, wait, nothing happened. You click this. Hey, look at that. Boom. There you go. So, now you can reselect that. So if I wanted to maybe work on something, maybe I saw like a cool thing, like a cool pattern. Maybe I'm like, like I had some weird pattern thing here, and I'm like, I kind of want to explore this shape again, right? Because sometimes in modeling you do that. You see something, you're like, oh, that's cool. Go over here. You might want to select all of it and clear it all for this specific one. But let's just say we do that, and then boom. Now you come back, you work on some stuff over here, you're like, I hate all this, and I'm going to make this blue. One thing to note, this is actually a good time to bring this up. If I go over here now to select red, in my current state of this add-on, it does not work. So if the vertices were something else here, and then they got changed over, they will be considered that new thing. Until I figure out how to solve that, this is going to be the way it'll be. I might just make it so it just auto-detects colors, which might also be useful for people who have wider range of colors, and instead of doing it the way I currently have it. But we'll see how things go in the future. I might have to take a whole overhaul for that. But that is one of the known issues, and I am working on it. Obviously, in this instance, that's not super hard to fix. I can just go ahead and do like faces here, and then turn that all to white, and now, oop, oop, wait, and then now all those are cleared. But in more complex models, just be aware when you're doing your things that could be an issue. So if we just go ahead and make this like that, now I'm like, we've done a bunch of stuff. Boom, I got that selected again. I want to make that black now, right? I can do something with it. Awesome. Now, when you're done with everything, one thing you can do is if you want to be done, you're just like, never mind. Okay. Well, anyway, with that over, where were we? Yes. When you are done, or you decided you don't like where it's going and you just want to wipe it all, you have choices here. So if you want to clear all your stuff that you were doing, you can just, if you previously finalized, you can just delete it and just keep everything that's the base thing, or you can just keep the RGBs layers. So if you're just like, everything's all, I don't want all the basic stuff that came with it, I might come back to this, but for now I'm done. But you just want to kind of clean up your file a little bit because it does leave some, I wouldn't call it junk, but some things that aren't necessarily needed for your general workflow, and you might just come back to it later. Or you didn't work with your alpha layers anyway, so whatever. Or you're just like, you know what, I want it all gone, all of it, delete it. It will just remove it, which I'll show you in a little bit. But I skipped over the first part, which was vertextualizing. Basically, that just finalizes your uh, set here. So if you go over here to here and here, you can see we have 3 layers. Because of the way Blender works, alpha layers are kind of annoying to work with. Anybody who's tried to do vertex painting with alpha layers understands this. So I, of course, made a system, which you probably already figured out. I didn't exactly try to hide it. There's my merger. And you can see how it just combines them into that layer there. But of course that is a basic thing, and that's not the core of this add-on. This is the core of this add-on, and this is just an annoyance of Blender. Um, and anyway, so if you want to be done, so you're like, I'm done, but you want to keep some extra stuff, so it'll keep like your some of your face set stuff and some other things. You can keep that there, not face sets, whatever they're called. That's the holders. You can do that. Or if you want to just get rid of all of it, you're done. So if we click this, boom, oh, but forgot object mode. I'm going to have to make that an automatic thing. But anyway, boop, done. Just the V color is left, and now you can do whatever you want to do with it. Of course, like we said before, you can clear it all if you wanted to. But for now, I want to show a potential use case, especially if you are somebody who uses Layer Painter or similar add-ons. Obviously, Layer Painter is okay, but it's free and open source, which is pretty awesome, and allows you to do layers with your materials. Uh, it's kind of like you would get with something like Substance or whatever along those lines. Now, the big issue with Layer Painter is it doesn't have a vertex ID mapping option. You can do it through your textures, but you can't do it through an actual vertex ID. That being said, I made an addition to their node in there, and we can kind of go over that. But before we get fully into here, I want to show you my own little masking thing that I came along with, that I made originally before I kind of thought about using Layer Painter. It still has some potential use cases, especially if you have your own complex node trees and you don't have it set up to work with Layer Painter, or you're not using it in your workflow or whatever. So I have 2 of them, basically a receiver and a sender as I'm calling them for right now. And basically the way this works is you would plug this guy in, your color attribute, it could be a texture set too if you want to, and then you would be able to plug in, export your RGB, your alpha, or your RGB alpha. So if you've done like all of these as unique different material sets instead of using alpha as a traditional alpha, then you can use that as an option too. Or you can come over here and you can send it out as grayscale. So basically out here what it does is it'll receive your special color. So when I have them color coded, so if I plug this into here, and we'll just kind of push Meow out of the way here, and then we go over to my add-on again, and we click here, you can see it looks basically the same, but slightly discolored because my masking is not perfect. But that's why these toggles are here, to play around with it until it looks about right to you. And then you can see if I go to the red, it can start to change. So you could plug in your own textures, whatever you want into that area, maybe some other complex node trees. I probably will make a shader version of this for people who are doing mixed shader stuff. But if you're just messing with a bunch of basic color stuff, you can put that out. And then, of course, realize like, hey, wait, some people just might have a complex node tree that can just be masked with a simple mix RGB or something. So that's why you got your grayscale. So if I plug in this red into, say, the alpha, his face will go away. Not really, because I forgot to change this, but boop, boop. Now, okay, I forgot. You have to invert it, but whatever. Everything else went away. So if I, of course, bring in an invert, ah, eh, invert, and then we go here. Now you can see his face is gone. So those are the kind of options you have. And just for people who might want to see me actually do it, if you go over here and you click on this and you click any of these here. Hmm? Oh, that's right. I forgot we applied everything. So this is what the double check is for. So you go back here, click double check. It brings everything back in. You'll notice everything kind of went away. That is because it replaced the color layer. I will make something a little bit more automatic that helps keep this. But if we go over here to, it's because of the thing over here. So if I get rid of this, you can see it's still there. So what we'll do for right now, right, until I make this again one of those kind of like, and then we'll kind of we'll make it V color because that's what makes sense. And then hackery ways to deal with my add-on. Okay, so now that's preserved. I will make an automatic conversion in V1.5. V1.5 is right around the corner. I realized a bunch of issues after I released this, but I wanted to get things going. Anyway, I wanted to show you how this works. So if we go over here, you can see how it's changed because again, it's on a different layer here. And you can toggle between these whenever you want. So you can see RGB or alpha. And you can of course view color or material. So now what we can do over here is instead of having this red plugged in there, we can plug in this alpha and go boop. And now you'll see his center kind of go away. And that's pretty much it for that. Now let's go ahead and go back to, oh, no, there's an issue. There's an issue, and this once again comes with blending. So let's select everything. Turn it back to white real quick, just to make things easier. So if we select this, and then we go ahead and do something like green, oh, you'll notice there's an issue. Blending is not perfect, and that is the exact reason why I have this, because you can see when you toggle things, it changes and might make more or less sense. And you can kind of see how it blends better, but then you have some issues. I'm still working on fixing this. I don't know if I'm going to fully ever fix it just because tools like Layer Painter does exist and technically handles that. And the grayscale variant honestly doesn't have that same level of issue. So if I go over to, what color did I make that again? Green. So if I go over to green, we plug you in here, and then we look at it. Green's there, but you notice it doesn't look broken, but it does look like sharper, right? That's the same issue with layer painter. There's probably a way to make the gradient work better. One day I'll figure it out, and then maybe I'll even make my own addition to something like layer painter to fix that. But until then, this can make a difference, but for the most part, this generally does nothing with 90% of everything. Um, but just note that is an issue, something I do partly intend to solve if I can ever figure it out. Math is not exactly my strong suit, but just something to note. Now, now let's finally get into Layer Painter because me being on track is obviously a very easy thing to do. So if we go over here to Layer Painter, if you've ever used it before, you just have your material. You can add your layer, add a PBR channel, whatever. Go over here to Add Mask, select your mask. Now I'll show you what you have to do to install because this isn't just pre-built into it. That ID mask is, but this right here isn't. So you have here where you can type in your color. Right now it's manual entry, but it does autofill with V-color, so it just works generally with this add-on. So you'll see instead of it being here, or everything's gone or cut off, right? But then you have it here. And so what we can do is you can put in, say, this guy if you want, but you can also now toggle. Let's go ahead and also add a base color so we can kind of see what's going on. Let's make it black, I guess. Oh. Then we can go over here, and then we can come over here and make this like red. It's already red. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so now you can see the face there. And of course, if I change over here, it didn't work. Okay, no, it's supposed to work. Oh, no, I did. Hmm? Did it remove my thing again? It did, didn't it? It did, didn't it? It did. You. No, we looked at it. We looked at it. Where's the face? Where's the face? What? What? It popped up in the beginning of this. I don't. You know, I never use the texture thing. Why is there two meows? You know. You know. Give me a sec. Okay, I did. You know, I still don't know what happened, but you know, we got it back. Bloop. Ah, my goodness. Bloop. There we go. We have a face again. I'm very angry, as you can tell. But it works. You now have an option for Vertex ID mapping and Layer Painter as well. It'll be packaged in its own separate thing / packaged with this add-on. And yeah, that is basically the add-on. You can of course export and everything. I currently don't have baking set up, so you can't bake this out to a texture or anything along those lines at the moment. I mean, you can. Blender does have that functionality, but I don't have an automated way of doing it at the moment. That is partly in the docket, but that's probably going to be after I fix some of my other major issues and bugs, which there are a few of, and probably a few more that I don't even know about. There are, uh, yeah, there's just a few things that I want to get solved. And that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoy it. Obviously, if you have any ideas of what to add, what you would like to see, let me know. And I do intend to fix some of the things that were talked about here. So it is not perfect, but it is in a state that is usable. And like it's basically was my bare minimum requirement for V1. And then V1.5 is going to fix a lot of those like smaller issues that kind of popped up after. Yep. Bip, 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 bye.